Hi, you guys. Welcome to the show. This is Tisha Marie Cain. I am your host with Beyond Mindset Limits. I am an executive council radio show host. I'm an expert mediator and communicator. I'm a breakthrough mindset coach and a clinical hypnotherapist. And I am a 6 times #1 best-selling international artist and author. I'm recognized for my work all around the world with Fortune 500 executives. I work with visionary leaders and high-performing entrepreneurs, guiding them to unlock their influence, align with purpose, and create lasting impact. With my unique blend of legal expertise, leadership strategy, and transformational coaching, I help individuals and organizations alike rewire their subconscious weight, release emotional weight, and elevate their relationship with money, power, and self-worth. And today, welcome to the show because we have a good one for you today. So we are going to be talking with Landon Alan Cain. He is my 11-year-old production engineer. And today's episode is called Raising the Next Generation of Entrepreneurs in the Age of AI. And so my son Landon has recently joined my personal brand, Tisha Marie Cain, and he has become an entrepreneur helping the family business. So thank you, Landon. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's Landon.
So I asked Landon to come on here. We have a family joke that it's a running joke. We said, we cannot be entrepreneurs unless you know how to spell it. So do you know how to spell entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Okay, spell it for our listeners.
ENTREPRENEUR.
All right. So you passed the first test for being on the show today. So I wanted to start the show with something that's really authentic and something that's near and dear to my heart. And I want to ask the listeners here, because they're traveling up the highway right now, Landon. They're in their cars, they're at work, they're listening to our show today. And so here's the question. What if your youngest employee had the courage to tell you that you were the problem? And this is what recently happened with Landon and I. You know, as leaders, we spend so much time teaching our teams how to become better communicators. And what happens when one of those team members has the courage to communicate back? Today, we're talking about entrepreneurship, AI, family business, legacy, and one lesson that completely changed the way that I run my company. And the lesson came from my 11-year-old son. Thank you, Landon.
You're welcome.
So this is Landon's first time on radio, and I basically had to bribe him to get on the show today. But I thought what was really important is his perspective as we talk about legacy and we talk about family business and we talk about, growing the next generation. And, he doesn't know what I know, but he does know a lot about artificial intelligence and becoming an entrepreneur and working in our businesses. So if the next generation is growing up with artificial intelligence instead of typewriters and calculators and encyclopedias, what responsibility do we have as parents and business leaders to teach them not just how to use technology, but how to think, how to communicate, and how to solve problems and actually be a leader? So today I invite you to think about this. Are we preparing children for jobs of yesterday, or are we preparing them to create the opportunities of tomorrow? So Landon, what would you say? Do you think I'm preparing you as your mother to really understand computers and artificial intelligence and really give you a sense of success for your life going forward?
Yeah.
All right. So can you go into detail on the things that you do to help us?
Well, I post videos on all the platforms, so that's helping you.
Yeah, that's really good. Landon, you're amazing because, you're here on Beyond Mindset Limits, not simply because you're my son. And actually, if you do a really good job today, you're going to get a cool t-shirt that says Beyond Mindset Limits that you're going to get to wear proudly. Okay. But you're not just here because you're my son. You're here because you have become an important member of our business and our family. And today I want people to hear what leadership can look like through the eyes of someone just beginning their entrepreneurship journey. So it's really important. So Landon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Landon. I'm 11, and I'm here on the show.
I love that. And you've basically been homeschooling your whole life. So in the process of homeschooling, we've taught you computers. In addition to, it's really important, like when we use discipline in our house, we write sentences, don't we?
Yeah.
And how many sentences have you had to write in 11 years of your life?
Over 1,000.
Probably more than that. But so we believe here in our family that putting pencil to paper is really, really important, but also bridging the gap from writing with a pencil and paper to using computers and how to elevate our brand, our voice, our legacy. So thank you, Landon. What made you want to be part of what made you want to come and work for mom and dad?
I'm getting paid.
You're getting paid. I know. You like money, don't you?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the money that you make from the business?
Probably just save up for whatever stuff I want.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And I know you like money and I like money. I teach people as a clinical hypnotherapist. Did you know mom teaches people about fixing their relationship with money?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And what do you hear me say a lot about abundance and money? Is there like a cliche that I use all the time in the house? No?
No.
You don't remember anything?
I
Like
don't remember.
I normally say money loves me and I love money. You know, that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes you remember. Yeah. So I teach people how to fix their relationship with money. So interesting enough, you wanted to come work in our family business because you had a opportunity to earn some money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many paychecks have you made so far?
2.
2. Okay. So let me just set the scene for our listeners right now. So Landon, it's been 3 weeks. So Landon started in our business and I wanted to get, since we're on the fetal stages of him learning, I wanted to get his perspective and his unique opinion working in the family business and building legacy, getting our brand name out there and doing those things. So the first week, how was the first week working in the family business?
It was nice. I just had to figure out a couple things before it was easy.
Yeah. What were the couple things that you had to figure out?
Like going into the folder and like getting the correct like photo or video for me to post.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so there's a graphic. So basically you take the graphics and you take the copy, right? Like I've given you words with no definitions. When I say go and get the copy and marry that with the graphics, you kind of arbitrarily, willy-nilly already knew what I was talking about, but you never really asked what the word copy definition was, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of knew, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first week we kind of ran into a little snag in the first week, but I will give you this though. You worked the whole week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you worked Sunday to Saturday.
Yep.
And how was that?
That was good.
So tell our listeners what your job is. What do you do each day?
So basically, at 5 o'clock, at 5 p.m. and 10 p.m., I go onto my mom's computer. I go into a folder with tons of like photos that say like subconscious, beyond mindset limits, and breakthrough stuff. And I click one that I want to post. And then I go get like copy for the title that matches with the photo, and then I post it onto the website.
Yeah. And so how many platforms do you post it on?
Like 6?
Yeah, 6 or 7. Yeah. So you go from Instagram to Facebook. Which ones? What other ones?
Substack, LinkedIn, Threads,
TikTok. Yeah. So you're getting exposure to all of these social media platforms, but we don't really consume social media. So you're not really looking around. You just get on there and post and you're out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many times do you do that a day?
2.
2 times. Okay. So Sunday through Saturday. And it was really interesting. Just yesterday, Landon's like, Mom, do you think it'd be okay if I have 1 day break? Maybe I don't work Sundays. And so that gave way to this beautiful conversation, leading my son back to the Bible because we do all of that. We have all the holy books here in this house, leading him back to scripture, back to faith-based teachings. And I said, did you know about the Sabbath? And what did you say?
No.
So I that went down a rabbit hole into the teachings on how, God rested on 1 day. And so after he had worked 3 weeks with us, he's like, hey, can I have a day off on Sundays? Maybe I could just have one day off. I said, that would be great. But you're going to work 6 days a week, right? And you're still going to do that? Okay, cool. So, okay, so the first week went well, but then it came to the second week. And the second week, you were like, you're not feeling it too much, were you?
No.
No. Okay. And so what did you, something happened. Can you tell everybody what happened after that first paycheck and why you felt frustrated?
Because every time I would come down and then my mom has to like either generate a photo or get a photo from my dad and then like kind of set it up for me. So I would go down there and then it wasn't set up. So I had to wait like 5 to 10 minutes for it to set up. And that kind of bugged me a little bit.
I know. And 5 to 10 minutes in an 11-year-old's life is like a long time, huh?
Yeah.
And so for the second week, Landon decided he wasn't going to work for me. And, as his mom, as his boss, I was like, okay, I didn't really, get on to him. I was just like, hey, he is the captain of his own ship. And it looks like he's not going to make money. So that next week happened and he came time for Saturday to get paid out and there was no money. So then what happened on Sunday, we had a conversation. How would that conversation go?
Good.
Good. Yeah. So what did you disclose to me on Sunday when we had that conversation? Do you remember? No. Okay. So basically Landon came and said, hey mom, I really want to work for you, but there seems to be a little bit of a problem. And I'm like, okay, I had to eat some humble pie over here. Like, what's the problem? Am I going to be listening? How can I make this relationship better? And so Landon disclosed that, in the course of coming downstairs and posting on all 7 platforms, how we can help and support the world, he was a bit frustrated because he had to wait for the post to get generated and then he had to wait for the copy and he wanted it ready. So he came up with a plan. What was your plan?
That I would put all the photos into a folder that I can just go in there and then pick one for the day, and then I would go into Microsoft Word and then have all of the copy titles ready for me so I can just go pick one.
So then we made an agreement that mom would have everything that you need like 1 hour before the post. And after we fixed that little system error there, did things get better?
Really better.
Really better, huh? Yeah. So then that led us in. So we had this deep conversation about, him being frustrated and then maybe him being nervous to tell me that I sucked as a boss, And so we had that conversation, which led to something that, was really meaningful for both of us. And the teachings were so rich and so in depth that I don't think like outside of our house that he would have really got the teachings. Because do you remember what I told you? Like it was important to, even though I was the boss and you were the worker, you had an idea on how our business can be more effective and run smoothly, but you didn't know if you could come to me and tell me that because I was the boss. But then when you had the courage to step up and tell me, then I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? Like I couldn't see through your eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, because we had that deep conversation, we were able to like fix it, get a system. I had everything ready to go. And then everything's been pretty perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So so I've been a CEO for many, many years, right? So do you know what a CEO is?
Yeah.
What?
It's someone that owns the business.
Yeah. So it's a chief executive officer. So the chief is like normally the big dogs, they're the ones who have a bird's eye view over the business. There's the ones that say, okay, they can see all the moving parts and then they can see how things fit together or how they don't fit together. And so I've done this for many, many years. And so you stepping into our business and being able to use AI, do you think that AI is going to replace people?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. How do you think it's going to replace people?
Because it's way more efficient than normal people.
Yeah, and we've seen that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen, because your dad and I were best-selling authors and we've published many books. We have, developed the covers of our books, and then now we're utilizing AI as a tool to help enhance the covers. And Aren't those miraculous? Like they're way more efficient than what we could have done, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So do you think you'll be a published author one day?
maybe.
Maybe. What are your goals? What are your goals? Do you have any goals?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, this is a really good teaching moment because me as a personal development coach, I heard Jim Rohn, he's one of the big top guys who teaches about personal development and mindset work. And he says, show me someone's goals and I'll show you their pocketbook. What does that mean to you?
Like he can help you?
Yeah, he can help you, but if you show me your goals, then like if you had a whole list of goals, do you think you have a whole list of money in your pocketbook?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had no goals, do you think you have money in your pocketbook?
No.
No, right. So he's like, you need to have goals. You need to have a vision board. You need to have an action board. You need to have those things so you can shoot. So what kind of car do you want to drive when you get older?
A Dodge Charger.
Ooh, what color?
Black and red.
Black and red? What's your favorite color?
Black and red.
Black and red. Okay, so you want a Dodge Charger. So what Jim Rohn would say is like to get a picture of that Dodge Charger and then put it on your bathroom mirror or in your bedroom and then look at it every day. And then you have goals and you're like, yes, I'm going to be getting this car when I'm 23, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what he talks about. So AI, you know, you're using AI, you're generating that. What I also want to know is like, what other, have you experienced any other challenges in our business? I know it's just on the fetal stages. No, it's cool. And you know what? I really want to congratulate you personally and also on the show because here's what I know is I trust your work, but I verify. So every time you post, because I don't want something out there like we're talking about the subconscious mind, and then you post a post about being a publisher because you know we're a whole concierge type business, right? We run the legal business, we run the publishing business, we run the coaching business, and so I trust you, but I go back and verify. So I just want to congratulate you because you're so freaking consistent. Like I'm really proud. I'm serious. I know you're smiling here. I wish the listeners could see my son's face right now, but he's smiling and he's excited because when I went back and I checked all 7 platforms, I checked the graphics against the copy. It was like done. Like you are very good at executing. You're very good at consistency. And those 2 things, Landon, you don't think about it because you're only 11, but those 2 things in life is going to get you very, very far. So congratulations.
Yay!
Cool. So we have about 5 more minutes. And I just want to go over what are some ideas that you can think of that can help other people your age, you know, be a good business partner.
Start going into like ChatGPT and stuff and learning stuff about like mindset and newer technology.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, because I know we also realize like with a ChatGPT or a Claude or something like that, we realize that garbage in is garbage out, right? Yeah. So dad's ChatGPT is way better than mom's, huh?
I mean, yeah.
Because he talks into it, gives it all the schematics, gives it, I want you to put this picture here on the water, you know, 40 degrees high with 5 clouds. He gives it all the details. So now I don't even use mine anymore. I let you use mine. Dad uses his, and we're using this as a tool to elevate our business and be able to assist us in what we do. Here's what I want you to know, son. The human mind developed AI. So there's nothing more profound and smarter than the human mind. The human mind is what it took to develop the AI. Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's the big idea here for our listeners today is I want to let you know that AI is used as a tool, and sometimes it can take over and sometimes it can't. But Landon isn't an AI expert by all means. He's learning alongside of me. We're teaching him the modern business skills of one project at a time. And that feels really authentic to us. We're not having it take over our business or do all the things. We're having it assist us and see what it could do to help us grow our business. So just like some families teach farming, some families teach mechanics and running a restaurant, we're teaching publishing, we're teaching media, we're teaching AI, business, computer skills, and that changes the narrative from employment relationship to a mentorship. So I'm just really excited to mentor Landon. As long as you have a drive, you might come to me one day and say, Mom, I am done. I want to go use tools. I want to be a mechanic and I'm done with the computer thing. That would be totally cool. Or if you wanted to be like a rock star, we just recently moved to Vegas. So if you wanted to be like a musician on the stage, I'm going to support you. But here's what I wanted you to know. Just follow your heart, son. Follow your heart. Whatever you want to do, you do that. And as long as it feeds your soul, it will never feel like you worked a day in your life. So what can we leave? We have about 2 more minutes. What can we leave our listeners with from your perspective? Working in our business, working alongside of me, learning the ropes, learning about computers. What would you tell someone who's just starting out?
I would say
something like just keep going.
Yeah.
Because it was hard at first, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so I wrote down like a little framework. And so you followed the framework to the T. So that helped, right?
Yeah.
So follow instructions. That's really important, right? Following instructions. And so we're laughing because sometimes it just goes back to the basics. Sometimes taking it back to the basics is really, really awesome. So, okay, you guys, thank you, Landon, for being here. I'm proud that you're doing this entrepreneurship alongside of me, and for coming on the show today. I'm going to award you a Beyond Mindset t-shirt. You're going to wear it proudly with joy. And anything else for our listeners?
Subscribe to Tisha Marie Cain on all platforms.
Right. Thank you, Landon. That is so good. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And we're going to pause right there for a moment for messages from our sponsors. Thank you.
Are you feeling stuck, repeating the same patterns in your relationships, your career, or even within yourself? What if the root of it all isn't what you think? Introducing the Beyond Mindset Session with clinical hypnotherapist Tisha Marie Cain. With over 2,000 clients served, Tisha guides you through a powerful 90-minute breakthrough session designed to uncover the true source of what's holding you back. Release limiting beliefs, rewire how you see yourself. Plus, you'll receive personalized integration support with follow-up sessions, a daily alignment plan, and a full recording to reinforce your transformation. Imagine feeling lighter, more confident, free from the cycles that once defined you. This is your opportunity to step into a new version of yourself. Appointments are available in person in California and Las Vegas, and anywhere virtually. The Beyond Mindset Session with Tisha Marie Cain. Schedule your session today at tishamariecain.com.
Did you know that most people spend thousands more than they need to on legal services, simply because they do not know they have options? The truth is, the right legal support can save you time, money, and unnecessary stress. At Cain's Legal Support, we have spent over 22 years helping individuals and families navigate the legal system with confidence, without the overwhelm and without the inflated costs. Whether you are facing a divorce, custody battles, landlord-tenant issues, civil or criminal matters, or even small claims, we are here to guide you every step of the way. We specialize in document preparation, private mediation, and personalized legal support, giving you the tools you need to move forward with clarity and control. And we do not stop there. From notary services to wedding officiating, Cain's Legal Support is your full-service legal concierge, because your life does not fit in a box, and your legal support should not either. If you are ready for legal guidance that actually works for you, visit cainslegalsupport.com today. Justice for all, give us a call. That is cainslegalsupport.com.
Are you a business owner, entrepreneur, author, creative, or visionary with a message the world needs to hear? Tisha Marie Cain is a publisher, publicist, international best-selling author, and radio show host who uses her creative genius to help people gain more visibility for their name, business, and brand. Through her publishing, publicity, and media platforms, Tisha helps purpose-driven entrepreneurs become seen, heard, and noticed in a powerful and professional way. One of the ways she helps her clients grow is by turning their expertise, story, or signature method into what she calls a tiny book, a small, powerful published book that can position them as an authority, attract aligned clients, and create a cash injection into their business. A tiny book is more than a lead magnet. It is a brand asset. It can open doors, build trust, create new opportunities, and give potential clients a meaningful first step into your world. Tisha also hosts a weekly radio show where she spotlights entrepreneurs, leaders, creatives, and business owners who are doing meaningful work and are ready to share their message with a larger audience. Her mission is simple: to help people grow together through story, strategy, publishing, publicity, and visibility. When you work with Tisha, you are not just getting a publisher or a publicist. You are getting someone who understands how to shape your message, elevate your presence, and help your brand stand out with credibility and confidence. If you are ready to grow your visibility, share your story, promote your business, or explore how a tiny book can create a new revenue stream for your brand, Tisha Marie Cain would love to connect with you. Visit tishamariecain.com to learn more, request a conversation, or inquire about being featured on her radio show. Your story deserves to be seen. Your voice deserves to be heard. Your brand deserves to be noticed. Connect with Tisha Marie Cain today at www.tishamariecain.com. Let's grow together. Have you ever wondered why you can know exactly what to do and still feel like something inside keeps pulling you back? You tell yourself, I'm done being angry. I'm done carrying sadness. I'm done feeling fear, guilt, shame, or not good enough. But no matter how strong, successful, or self-aware you are, the pattern keeps showing up. That is because most people are trying to change their life from the surface, when the real programming lives in the subconscious mind. Meet Tisha Marie Cain, clinical hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, and founder of Beyond Mindset Limits. Tisha helps people go directly to the root cause of the emotional patterns and limiting beliefs that have been running their lives behind the scenes. Hypnotherapy is not magic. It is not mind control. It is focused subconscious work that allows clients to bypass the noise, access the root, and begin transforming the belief where it was first created. Anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame. Not good enough, not safe, not worthy, not lovable. These are not just emotions. They are often protective programs the mind created long ago. Through her 90-minute hypnotherapy sessions, Tisha guides clients into the subconscious mind to release what no longer belongs to them and begin installing a new way of thinking, feeling, and becoming. For many of her clients, one session creates a breakthrough they have been chasing for years. If you are ready to stop managing the pattern and finally transform it at the subconscious level, this is your invitation. Book your 90-minute hypnotherapy session with Tisha Marie Cain at Beyond Mindset Limits. Sessions are available in office, on Zoom, or by private appointment. Because healing does not have to take forever. Sometimes you just need the right access point. Beyond Mindset Limits. Go to the root, release the limits, become the version of you that was always waiting underneath.
And we are back, you guys. That was really fun. I was able to bring my son, Landon Alan Cain, onto the show. He had never done anything like this before. I had kind of had to bribe him to get on the show, but I thought it was really important that he shared his own, unique voice in the process of building legacy in our home. And it was such an honor for me to have him come on the show today and be able to capture this moment in time as he is our production engineer and he's learning the family business. So I want to talk about, being a parent and homeschooling my child and teaching him skills. Last week we were teaching him table etiquette and how to strategically place the forks on one side and the knife and spoon on the other side. And I wanted him to be able to have some exposure and know what it looked like when you went out to fine dining. Now, we've already always treated, one of our priorities are eating at really nice restaurants. And so we've always treated our son to, the best we could when it comes to eating out at restaurants. But I don't think he was conscious in the way that, there's a table etiquette and how things are set out. So my husband and I were talking about what are all the things that Landon needs to know before he's 18. Like, we are his parents and we are required to make sure that, we teach him about balancing a checkbook, about sewing a button on a shirt, how to make a fire, many other practical life skills that schools don't often emphasize. So we were teaching him about the media production and branding and how AI fits into that same philosophy. Rather than simply giving him technology, we're showing him how to use it to create something meaningful. And that's why his perspective and him coming to me and saying, Mom, I kind of just wanted to quit because you weren't organized up front. And so I couldn't be efficient because you didn't have the post and the copy ready. And we tweaked that little thing. And now he enjoys, like, he comes down at 5 p.m. You're going to see my post. He's the one behind the scenes posting for me because it takes everyone to run a business. I'm very, very busy. If you need something done, give it to a busy person. And I'm very, very busy. And so what a blessing it is to have Landon, one, have the drive to want to come and learn the business, and two, being able to make a little bit of side money. He wants this hoodie. It's like a pro club or something like that these kids are into. And I'm like, okay, good. And you get to earn the money to do that. And I need help in the business. So we're showing him how to create something meaningful and add value to our family. I want to be really clear that he's not here just because he's my son. He's been a student of entrepreneurship. He's been a student of learning one skill at a time. And that distinction gives this episode educational value for every parent listening, right? It's in those simple things. Like, we do, because we've homeschooled them, we do math at the grocery store. I'll say, okay, everything that we throw into the basket, I want you to add it up. And if it's, $1.75, just round everything up to $2, right? And by the time we get up to the checkout stand, I don't really care, how much we invest, because if we need it, it's going in the basket. But I want him to be consciously aware of those things and using life as a school. Life's a school. And so we've been able to be very integral in teaching Landon all of the skills, or hopefully, you as a parent, you're like, okay, am I doing the right job? And I'm doing the best job, and that's where I can go back at, like, my parents. Forgiveness lies in the fact that my parents were just doing the best they can with what they knew, right? And they were doing the best they could with what they knew. And so my husband and I, we share that same sentiment. We're just trying to do the best we can with our son and helping him grow into, a productive member of today's society, and really adding value and turning sales into service. Sales used to get a bad rap, but we really believe, selling is service. If you have an offer that could radically change someone's life, it's your duty to let them know, right? So, and to be able to use these platforms to get out there, to get more visibility, because if they can't find you, they can't fund you, right? And so Landon really isn't on social media at all, except for as our production engineer in the background, posting our posts and getting our message out, building our brand, building legacy. It wasn't even totally about entrepreneurship either. It's about something much, much bigger to me. It's about leadership. And it begins with listening. And it begins with him being able, can he follow instructions? Can he follow these rules? Can he be innovative, right? Because that begins in a conversation. Legacy begins when one generation is willing to teach and the next generation is courageous enough to contribute. And I'm like, okay, we have our legal business. I can teach you how to write a civil complaint. I can teach you how to make this look and where to go to find it, right? I can teach you about the law, and you have full availability to all of my books. My books are very, very expensive. And I even have the 1950 Encyclopedia Britannica, the whole encyclopedia. So for funsies, we'll pull out an encyclopedia and look at, the Arctic Circle, right? And then we'll dive deep into being a critical thinker. What does this mean, really, right? So it's about being innovative and being able to use your legacy to be able to teach and pass it down to generation and generation. One of the greatest lessons that I've learned as a CEO came from this 11-year-old child of mine who had the courage to respectfully tell me that our system wasn't working together. This kid was like, Mom, I don't want to work because it kind of sucks. And I'm like, okay, tell me more, right? That's one of my questions at home all the time is when someone makes a statement, I'll say, great, tell me more about that, or how specifically, right? And I'll have them go into the weeds of all the things, because as a neuro-linguistic programmer and practitioner, I can be able to see where the journey, where he's taken me down. And I knew the journey that he was taking me down was frustration. And so he's like, I don't want to do it because I'm frustrated because you don't have your things ready, right? So opening the door to those conversations and him being able to feel safe to say, hey, this isn't working. So as leaders, we don't just build great companies by having all the answers, right? We build great companies by creating environments where people feel safe enough to help us find better systems. Whether you're leading a business or you're raising a family or simply just trying to become a better human, just remember this: the greatest legacy, and I talk about this all the time because I believe in legacy. The greatest legacy you will ever build isn't the business that you leave behind. It's the people you prepare to carry it forward. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about JS West in Modesto, California, and they've been around 117 years. And you bet your last dollar, I tried to glean everything off of this amazing family. Tell me what's kept a business in business for 117 years, and it's about the people, right? How do I go pulling Landon closer in as the production engineer? How do I pull him closer and treat him like he's a valuable team member and be able to give him a voice and listen to his innovative ideas? Because these kids, man, they are different than our generation. I'll be 50 this year, Tisha 5.0, and I'm really excited to step into that. My family, my legacy, we never really talked about age. Women, the women in our family was, oh, do not talk about age. And I've broken that curse. I want to talk about it because, wow, I just feel like I'm at a new level, right? And if I can open up myself to be able to listen to the concerns and the frustrations of my child and really change it so that his life is better. And then more importantly, too, my life was better because I was able to listen to him, then why the heck not, right? So let me say that again. The greatest legacy you will ever build isn't the business that you leave behind. It's not our legal business. It's not our publishing business. It's not my coaching business, but it's the people that I prepare to carry my business forward. And I also think that this episode quietly reinforces something really intricate and central to my brand, Beyond Mindset Limits, and my brand's philosophy, right? Transformation doesn't always happen through breakthroughs or big moments, even though I love breakthroughs. I love it when a client comes in and says, Tisha, oh my goodness, you just radically transformed my life. And then I'm like, no, you did, because you invested one in yourself and you were willing to go deep and look at the things that were holding you back and the prisons that you put on your own mind. And I was just a facilitator in that. And I love those breakthroughs and I love those big magic moments. But sometimes It happens through a simple conversation where two people choose curiosity over defensiveness, right? I wasn't defensive because he quit me for a week. I was just like, okay, cool. He's not getting paid for the week and I'm going to keep the money, And then once he felt like, I didn't get paid this week, then he wanted to talk about it. Of course, I was going to ask him, hey, was there, any way for me to be a better boss to you? Was there any way I could have done different? But he came to me, which to totally have the courage and the freedom to come to mom and say, hey, here's where we're at. We have an opportunity to be better. And then me being open to listen. Whoo, right? So it happens in those simple conversations where we were curious about why he quit, why he didn't want to help, right? I actually think this could be one of my most compelling episodes because, it has the most interesting angle of 11-year-old and what he was going through. And it also has the teaching skills that most people don't learn until adulthood, right? I'm giving him a unique platform to be able to learn artificial intelligence, to really understand that people created our artificial intelligence. So we are the superior race and the superior being that don't let AI overtake us, but use it in a way that helps you, right? As a tool. So from what I know, legacy is really, really important to me and also important to my son, whether it's helping families preserve their stories through publishing or building businesses or teaching people to think beyond mindset limits. And this overall message about raising the next generation of entrepreneurship in an age of AI is really, really important. I think if we approach it with like a 2-year-old, like, tell me more about this. What did you learn, Landon, about, going through all of these platforms? What questions do you have? So, we really got him on the fetal stages of his learning right now. So I'd be interested to have him back in like 6 months to see what his perspectives are. Because if I know my son, which I know my son, we are multi-passionate creatives, right? It's only going to last for so long where I'm like, okay, here's the graphics and here's the copy, marry those together and post them on these 7 platforms, right? There will be a time where he's going to go, this is boring. I don't want to do it anymore, right? I know my son and he'll be all, okay, hey, why don't we let me develop the graphics? I'm like, okay, I know that's going to happen. So stay tuned. This is what is going to be so exquisite about the next 6 months is once he really steps into his entrepreneurship and really, taking hold of what he wants. It's just going to be so great to watch. Like, I'm so excited. So thank you guys for coming along on this journey today. I mean, we had something else happen today that was fantastic. We just published a book called The Sacred Return. And the author, her name is Sarah Din. She's out of the Northern California region. And she has been working on this book for over a year now, publishing her book and writing her book and getting all the intricate pieces of her book. And I was thinking about that today, how beautiful I get to celebrate with Sarah. Today, she went #1 best-selling international author in 3 categories: self-help, relationships, and conflict resolution. And so in that, like, we were celebrating so big with Sarah today because her win is my win. My win is her win. And to be able to help her get her voice out into the world, wow. I mean, it really feeds my soul, right? When I think about at the end of the night, when I think about why I do what I do, it's because this feeds my soul. I think God has given me a voice. Years past, what happened was I didn't have a voice and my throat chakra was closed up and I didn't use my voice. And I kept reading scripture, and Ephesians 6:12 says, speak boldly as you ought to speak, right? And so I'm like, okay, I must use my voice in these courtrooms. I must let them know what my truth is and all of that. And I started to use my voice on all the platforms and be able to speak for those who didn't have a voice, and be able to teach those who didn't have a voice, and have people come into their confidence and rewire their limiting beliefs and and go back and go to the root cause of their suffering and to teach them that suffering is optional. And going through all of that, if you can hear the energy in my voice, this is what I love, right? And at the end of the day, I thought, interesting how God has given me this big voice now. I didn't always have it. But God has given me this big voice to be able to help others raise their voice. And Cain and Company Publishing, this is now 25, 26, our 26th book under our label. And Sarah Din went #1 today. Her win is my win. And just makes me so proud to be able to use my gifts and my medicine to support her to get her voice out there. It takes a lot, you guys, to publish a book. So I want to take you behind the scenes of the current book I'm writing for myself. This will be my 7th book. And I just know that it's going to go, #1 international. 1, because I know the framework, and 2, because I visualize, the end result. I reverse engineer. This is what I teach my clients, to reverse engineer the outcome. So whatever and I talked about this before, but, I saw myself on the Ritz-Carlton yacht, and I was walking the yacht walk, right? And I was seeing myself, okay, what's going to reverse engineer from that? Okay, my hair was done, my makeup was done, my clothes were done. I was looking great. I had the best shoes on, the best clothes, and then worked backwards from there and how I got there. So I was able to, bring that into full vision. So basically, I know that my next book, my 7th book, is going to be #1 international bestseller. I just know it because it must, right? And so when I'm looking at this, so I'm going to take you behind the scenes here for a little bit, okay? So let me tell you, last April, I started out on a journey with my husband to do 100 days of art. And so we completed 100 days of art. It was about 3 hours each night. So that was like 300 hours. At the end of the 100 days of art, I was like, okay, what am I going to do now with all of this art? Well, if you don't know, I sat down and I painted 100 days of trees. And I channeled in my Bob Ross persona, right? I'm like, I love Bob Ross. I love these little trees. I'm just going to sit here for 100 nights and publish these little trees. So, and that's what I did. And my husband, he painted barns. He painted some old Minnesota barns, which was fantastic. So at the end of the 100 days, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with these little trees? And so all of a sudden, God gave me the I Am series, I am that I am, right? The Tao Te Ching talks about this. Dr. Wayne Dyer talks about the Tao Te Ching, and it says that the Tao that can be named is not the Tao, right? I am that I am. And so this little book of 100 trees became the wisdom of the trees, the I Am series. And I didn't know back then last year, I didn't know back then that book, me channeling in and sitting for 100 nights without fail. This is what my family is good at. We are good at consistency and we are good at execution. Those two things, and adaptation is another one, but consistency and execution is what we thrive on here in the Cain family household, right? So I sat for 100 nights painting these little trees, putting my love into each stroke. And God gave me the wisdom of the trees, the I Am series. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know where this is going, but cool. Well, fast forward 1 year, I have now sat again 100 nights consistently. And I thought to myself, well, if I had 100 trees, those little trees need little birds. And I've always been a bird lover. I've always been a bird watcher. There's something me and this connection to the trees and the birds. So I was like, oh, thank you. That just makes sense, right? So what I did is I painted 100 nights of birds, and I did watercolors and acrylics. I used all mediums, okay? And so I'm done. So now what? So last night I finished 100 nights of birds, and I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Okay, now I get to publish the wisdom of the birds. So taking you behind the scenes, there is a lot of work to still be done. I was like, okay, I was telling my husband today, now that I painted 100 nights of birds, now I have to digitize these. I have to crop them. I have to change them. I got to put them all in, digitize them so I can upload them into the book. Each little bird has a name. I am wild. I am forgiveness. I am vibrant, all the things. And I get to do that. And then I was telling my husband, like, this is not the fun part right here. This is probably where most people quit. Okay. Because I can sit down, or they probably would have quit at like 30 days. I don't know. I believe that I'm different and I'm consistent more often than not. And so, maybe people would have quit in the middle of the birds, or maybe they would have quit halfway through, but I'm not a quitter, although sometimes I like to quit. So I sat down and I told my husband today, I said, most people would probably quit right here. Okay, the art's done. Now what? And then just the fact that we have to go and digitize everything and then upload it to the book and, now get the cover and the back cover and write the dedication, write the acknowledgement, write the foreword. And all this it's a little lookbook. It's going to be the wisdom of the birds. And basically what you do is you use it like a tarot card or an affirmation card. You open the book, whatever tree, or I'm sorry, that's the wisdom of the trees, but whatever bird you see, the wisdom of the birds, you look at the bird, you embody the colors, you bring it into your body, and then you read the message. I am forevermore, whatever the message for that bird is. And so it's just a really simple lookbook. There's not a whole lot of words. There's one bird, there's one I am message, and that's it. And there's 100 of them, but you have to get the dedication and the acknowledgement and the front matter and the back matter and the cover and the spine. And holy moly, it's a bit daunting today for someone who likes to execute and get things out. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was finished. I thought I was finished after I was done painting 100 nights. And I was like, okay, you know what? I love these birds and I want nothing more for this project to get into the world and nothing more for me to leave the legacy for my children. I have 4 of them and my children's children, because as an artist, as an author, my words are deathless. My art is deathless. This is something I can pass down to my littles, right? And so, man, when I have my coaching clients, typically I have them go do art. That's one of the things that I have them go do, point them back to art. And I always get all the objections, right? I can't do art. My trees look demented. All the objections, but I just like, go do art. Just make marks on a page. Just make marks. Mark making is so cathartic and it's so meditative. And as you're making marks on the page, you can call in your highest self and you can meditate and you can pray and you can talk to God and you can ask for whatever you need and whatever you want during the practice of art. And so I've done that and it's been so rewarding. And now I'm on to the second phase and it's a bit daunting because there's still a lot of moving parts. And I want this project of mine, the wisdom of the birds, to feel good in my body. I want it to be another birth, right? So when I published the wisdom of the trees, I held on to it. I held on to it before I published it out in the world because it was like I gave birth to another baby of mine, this project that I poured over for 100 nights, 300 hours of art. Probably add another 100 hours onto, digitizing the art, getting them uploaded into the computer, writing the front matter, writing the back matter, writing the cover, designing the spine. I'd add a whole nother 100 hours. So 400 hours to the wisdom of the trees. Now I'm headed into 400 hours to the wisdom of the birds, and they are so special to me. And honestly, I don't even care if I sell a single book. It's going to sell, but I don't even care if I sell a single book because this project is so, so meaningful to me that I must birth it out into the world. So what I want to leave you with today is a few things. We brought Landon on earlier so you can hear from his 11-year-old perspective and raising the next generation of entrepreneurs in the age of AI, right? And so what's important for me to teach him and all other kids is find your passion, find what lights your fire, and just do that and specialize in something. I mean, I'm a unicorn. I can do it all. Yes. And if I can go back, I would just be like the best, bird painter in American history. That's probably what I want to do. But again, knowing my personality, I'd get really bored really quick. But I want to leave you guys with this. Go back to what feels good in your body. Go back to what you used to do as a child and do that. If you used to ride a bike, do that. If you used to love swimming, do that. Because what you're doing is you're teaching your children to live in their highest joy. And that's what I want to leave you with today. It's not about entrepreneurship or teaching my son the business or the art. It's just about we get to choose our reality. We get to live in the highest joy possible. And that's all I want for humanity as a humanitarian. Live in your highest joy and you get to choose it. Thank you guys for being here with me today. This is Tisha Marie Cain. You can find me on all platforms. Thank you to Landon Alan Cain. www.tishamariecain.com. I'd love to be able to publish your book, support you in releasing emotional weight. I'm here for you. Thank you guys for listening. Until next week, signing out. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for joining Tisha Marie Cain for Beyond Mindset Limits. Tune in every Wednesday at 4 p.m. as the conversation continues around mindset, legal insight, and publishing as a strategic tool for business positioning. Visit TishaMarieCain.com or CainsLegalSupport.com for more information or to schedule your private appointment.